secure. So, to be secure. Well, you get the message. Secure. There we go. And then again, we have this, which means the same thing, observe and behold, but we also understand breath, which means, what can we take away from breath?
Life.
Huh?
Life.
Life. Life. But we also have an idea of being or having an awareness of the Spirit. So, what is it telling us? Yehovah means who was, or who is, who was, and who is to come. It means eternal one. But when we break it down into Proto-Hebrew, we understand the first three commandments in this, basically the first four commandments, that we are to worship, observe, and behold only one Elohim, who has a name, Yehovah. That in doing so, like Deuteronomy says, if we stick to his Torah and we acknowledge him, then we receive prosperity and we receive security in our lives. It's attached to our lives. He is Spirit. Elohim is Spirit. Those who the Father is looking for must worship in spirit and in truth. So I understand that it's more than simply, I have a relationship with something that I can't touch. I have a relationship with something I can't smell, that I can't see, that I can't audibly hear. I can hear Elohim in my spirit, but I can't audibly hear. My senses aren't affected like they would be with a cat or a calf or a cow or whatever. So what the name is telling me is that I have a responsibility to acknowledge him in everything. And that if I will acknowledge him, then he will provide for me my rest, my protection, my nourishment. And these are the things that we see in the name of Yehovah in the Proto-Hebrew. We'll do one more. But these are things that sometimes we run across words that are written in our regular Hebrew script that are translated in such a way that for some reason they don't make any sense. And we can go back and look and say, this brings some clarity. We can use this for that purpose. But we have good enough. Anybody want to guess?
Yeshua?
No.
Son?
We look at, it's got an aleph. You said the
Elohim.
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 Elohim. So what are we looking at in Elohim? What do we see in the aleph? Again, we have strength and what else? Power.
Might.
Might. Okay. Okay, then we have this, the shepherd's goad, which tells us what? What do we say we learn from the shepherd's goad? Authority. What else do we get from Lamed?
Instruction.
Authority,
Teaching.
instruction, guidance. Okay. again, we have the Vav. The Vav is not in our regular Hebrew script. In our regular Hebrew script, it's represented by the dot, Elohim. But there are no dots and dashes and nikudim in Proto-Hebrew, so we put in the Vav, which also acts as an O. So we have a Vav in Proto-Hebrew, which means what? It means a hook. What does a hook do? It secures. Okay? And this also means to add or to prosper. Okay? Again, we have, there's the Hey again. And the Hey, we said it meant what? It meant behold. And what else? Okay. Behold again.
Breath of life, awareness of the Spirit.
Awareness of the Spirit. Awareness of Spirit. We have life, like I said. So we behold the awareness of the Spirit in our life. Yod. In Yod we had what? The primary thing was worship. 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 And then finally in the Mem, we had water. Means blood. Means might. Or mighty. And it also means, in a roundabout way, chaos. So what do we see? What are some of the ideas that we get from the pictures that we find in Elohim in the Proto-Hebrew?
Strength and authority, security and
These-
prosperity.
Yeah, these are representations of what Yehovah is to us. He is our Elohim. He is our Elohim. He is Eloheinu, our Elohim. So to us, He brings us strength, power, and might through His authority, His guidance, and His instruction. And this brings us, adds to us, attaches to us security, prosperity. We are aware of His presence because of this. We are led to worship, and ultimately we have restoration through the water and the blood. We break these little, you see the Torah, and this is what it would have looked like back in the day. And we look at that, and each one of these little words is telling a story. We say that in our block Hebrew, our imperial Persian is what it is. We can read every word as a sentence, but in Proto-Hebrew, every word becomes a story. And now we extract from the story the characters, and we put the story together to draw out meaning and see what it means in our life and how it affects us in our walk to make us so much more intimate with our Elohim. I'm saying, is this absolutely critical stuff to know? Not really. People have asked me when I started teaching the Hebrew letters. It originally started off as teaching Hebrew, the basics of Hebrew grammar. But people would ask me, why do I need to know Hebrew? I have the English Bible. And the thing is, how intimate, and this is important, how intimate do I want to get in my relationship with my Creator? with my Elohim, with Yehovah, the most powerful entity in existence and beyond. But any questions on this?
Will these have the same numbers?
Huh?
This is
Same
the Bible?
numerical values apply to these as apply to the other ones.
What was this again?
Jordan.
Yod He Vav He. That is Yehovah, the name of Elohim.
And this one was,
Elohim.
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 okay.
Remember, we also, on this, we're reading right to left. So
Yes.
it's going to be backwards than what we're accustomed to. From this came forth, around the same time, came forth Egyptian hieroglyphics. All of them grew out of Ugaritic, which became cuneiform, which became Proto-Hebrew, and Ugaritic is it's basically what we would draw into a tablet, Aleph example, and we have different lines that, if you've ever seen the cuneiform tablets that have all the little lines drawn in it, that's also Ugaritic. It was used in ancient Sumeria. But Ugaritic also leads us, or gives us a lot of insight into what some words in the Bible are that we misrepresent. We've talked about, in Song of Solomon, he's comparing her lips to earthenware painted with silver, and then King Jimmy and all our translations say dross. Whereas in Ugaritic, it's a Ugaritic word that means glaze. But we have to go and be able to recognize where these words are. And this is sometimes more than most people will ever do sitting down studying. But we have to be aware that there are words in our English that don't mean what was meant originally. And this is something that'll just help us to move along. So when we start going through Genesis, we're going to come to words that, why is that word there when it's totally out of line with everything else? And then we're going to have to stop and take a deeper look into it. Okay. Anybody else? Well, in that case, I guess we've achieved grooviness. All right.